What could have influenced the Arizona gunman tonight, from his background to speculation on what role politics may have played in this massacre.
Joining us now is political analyst Jeannie Zaino from Iona College and Beau Dietl, a private investigator and retired NYPD homicide detective. Thanks both of you for being with us this evening.
Hi.
Jeannie, let's start with you tonight. The Congresswoman's husband spoke out and reportedly blamed inflammatory political rhetoric, saying that it incites people to be violent. So tell us, how much of a role do you think that political rhetoric played in this situation?
Well, you know, I'm one of those people that is urging real caution on that because, I would love to hear if Beau agrees with me, we don't yet know what exactly was the motive here. So to say it had to do with the political rhetoric, it is certainly a possibility, but I think at this point we have to urge real caution in jumping to that conclusion and indicting people like Sarah Palin, who's been all over the news, when we don't yet know the real facts of the case here.
Beau, we want to get your side here and what's going on. The suspect, as you well know, Jared Loughner, was kicked out of school because of his troubling behavior. He failed a drug test when he tried to enlist in the Army. There's more. He also was posting inflammatory rants on YouTube. So with all of that going on, should alarm bells have gone off somewhere along the line here, Beau?
You know, you could find maybe 1 million kids across the United States that have been asked to leave college, smoke pot, act weird. I mean, in reality, there's a lot of kids just like him, but what sets him apart? What set him off? I mean, to use it as a political thing, just look at some of the books that he was reading. He was reading How to Be a Communist, Mein Kampf, and The Wizard of Oz. This kid was all over the place, and I think to focus on the Tea Party and all this, what's happening now, is very wrong. If you just look at what's happened to this kid, he was so tumultuous, even with the statements he was making about the currency. That has nothing to do with Republican or Democrat. This has to do with a really disturbed young man who had an opportunity to get his hands on a gun, and he felt as though the way he's going to go, and he's going to go out in a blaze of glory, was the fact that he knew that this congresswoman was going to have a community meeting there, and that's really one of the most important issues that I really am here. I really feel as though that issue of her being out in the public like that, that cries out to have some security there.
So, there you go.
You know, Jeannie, I want to ask you on this issue of mental health and social responsibility. Pima Community College suspended Loughner and basically sent a letter to his parents saying that in order for him to come back to school, he basically had to get a mental evaluation, and the doctor had to determine that he would not be a danger to himself or others. Is it time for institutions like corporations, universities, or any other institution to report people like this?
Well, you know, I think that's a great question, because one of the things that hasn't been discussed as much as the question of did political rhetoric cause him to do this are the other policy questions, the real policy questions. If this is somebody with a real mental illness, what are we doing publicly to support these people, to get them help, to talk about reporting from institutions?
The feds have been alerted about a guy like this that a university says could be a danger to others?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And where is the support? I mean, they talk a lot about how the health bill and the vote on the health bill might have incited this. But the health bill brings up another issue about the mental health policy in this country. So those are real concerns. And I agree wholeheartedly with Beau. The real immediate question here is, how do you protect our public figures who we want out there with their constituents, and yet we don't want to endanger them, we don't want to endanger their constituents or their staff for that matter. I mean, we saw a staff member killed. Okay,
Beau, I'm going to go back to you. You started talking about the open forum of this event and what happened there. You talked about security. Let's talk about prevention. And what about the copycat effect of all of this?
Well, that's what scares me right now, is the copycat effect. And, you know, we have like Congressman King, who has immediate threats at all times. He's the head of Homeland Security. He has security. I know he has security. We have to really follow through seriously. Every time there is a threat, you have to evaluate, see if it's a real threat, and then you have to do an investigation. As far as this young man here doing this shooting, like I said before, you might have 1 million kids out there that are bipolar, ADD. They have all kinds of tricks and, you know, all kinds of problems. And they all smoking pot. They're putting angel dust in there. And there's a lot of kids like this. How do you determine what that kid's going to do? Is that kid going to get a gun and kill somebody?
Yeah. Can you prevent some of this from happening? I mean, people say, you know, no matter what you do, you just can't control it.
You know what? United States, we have 300 million people, Ernie. We have 300 million people. Yeah. This thing happened 2 days ago. Let's be be honest about it. You have terrorists in this country, terrorist cells. This is not really that widespread. As that amount of people, you would think there would be more incidents of this public shootings and all that. We're very lucky so far. We have to minimize it, and we have to investigate any kind of threats.
Yeah, Jeannie, 15 seconds, final thoughts.
My real concern in addition to that is what this does to sway really good people from entering politics. So we've got, number one, got to secure our public officials, their staffs and constituents, so nothing like this happens again.
Okay.
Every threat should be investigated.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Jeannie Zaino, Beau Dietl, we thank you so much.
Thank you.
Get myfoxny.com on your iPhone free at the App Store and stay connected.